I just realized something, guys. There's an antenna in this thing. That means that they probably left a receiver in here. So I bought this at the swap meet. And yeah, I just bought it how it was. I didn't think there was going to be a receiver in here. Come on, Futaba receiver. Come on, Futaba receiver. Airtronics receiver. Still. Heck yeah, I got an Airtronics receiver in here. Score! It's the Sanwa RX 471 receiver. Little hidden treasure in there. That's nice. It works. What is up, guys? My name is Mark Santamariel. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the RC vlog. Guys, we're back with another Tech Tuesday. I have less than a week to finish my Nitro Truggy. It's not anywhere near complete. It's because I'm running it at SICK. I realized I didn't have a servo I thought I had, so I had to rob it out of a car that I got in a swap meet. So, nonetheless, the reason for this Tech Tuesday is I realized there's a lot of things that I do to avoid blowing servos that maybe you guys don't know about. So I'm going to tell you 3 things you can do to avoid blowing servos in your RC car. Look at these girls. They just want to be in the video. Oh my God. That looks bad. I need to clean up my area. Alright, so the first one, and probably the most overlooked, is how you position the servos on your radio tray. So this is actually what sparked this video. Look under here. See under the servo how there's a gap there? So Techno has done a really good job on kind of milling out an area where it's a little bit lower than the chassis. So the incorrect way to mount a servo is you have the servo pushing up against your chassis. And what happens is if your servo is sitting on the chassis, when you slam down, it can cause servo failures. A lot of people don't know that. They just put the servo in and screw it down. And a lot of times they're screwing it down and it's pushing down on their chassis. So it's putting force on their chassis from the servo. And the shock when your car lands is incredible. So that's what causes the servos to go bad. The way to fix this, if it's not already elevated, so it needs to have a little bit of space between the chassis and the servo when mounted on your car, is to add washers or grommets. I like to add the little rubber grommets on there. A lot of servos come with little rubber grommets. This one in particular doesn't because it's a Metal Gear servo, but it comes with the little rubber grommets to keep from those plastic ears from breaking, and also takes away some of the shock whenever the car lands really hard. So make sure you elevate the servo a little bit so there's just a little bit of gap between the servo and your chassis. To me, that one is probably the most overlooked. I see a lot of people make that mistake, but yes, don't forget that one. That one's super important. The second one is a little more obvious. It's making sure your servo saver is set correctly. So here on your steering, and almost all cars either have the servo saver on the steering or on the actual servo horn. And a lot of them have it where you can adjust it. So basically what the servo saver does is whenever a shock hits your steering, this spring down here, let me see if I can get it to zoom, not zoom, well I can get it to zoom. Let's see if I can get it to focus. That spring down there gives. And when it gives, essentially it keeps the shock away from hitting your servo and breaking the teeth off the servo or blowing the servo motor. This is my race car, so I usually run these all the way. I basically screw them all the way down and back them out about a quarter turn. Half a turn is recommended, sometimes a whole turn. I think actually in the manual, I believe it's a whole turn is recommended. Dang, in the manual, it's actually tighten it all the way down and then back it out 2 turns. That's what's recommended. I don't do that. I do half a turn. I don't put a lot of slack in my servo saver. But if you have this servo saver tightened down too much, or you have one of these cars that have a no servo saver and it's just an arm, your steering, and your servo, when you hit something, if you're going down let's say you're going down the straight and you clip a pipe, that's a lot of shock that goes to your servo and there's nothing to give. So that's what makes your servo teeth or your motor explode in there, which is not good. So make sure your servo saver is set correctly to avoid blown servos. Now with all that said, you can set your servo saver too soft. I've seen that a lot also, and people complain about their cars not being able to steer, and what happens is the servo saver gives so much when your servo actually tries to turn it, the spring just gives and the car doesn't actually turn. So you have to have a good medium between having it too over tight and too loose. I tend to go closer to the tighter side because I want my car to handle a little bit better, and I risk blowing a servo a little bit more. And the last one that most people know about, but they often forget because they get so excited when they get a new car, they just throw it out there and don't set this. But you have to make sure your endpoints are set correctly. I have Evan's car that sounds like a jet engine down there that I'm going to show you guys not how to set your endpoints, but kind of what you want to look for. I'll do another video on how to set endpoints some other time, but just a really quick 30-second how to set your endpoints really quick. I unplugged the fan. So we run those ProTech fans, which are freaking awesome. They keep really cool. They're a little loud, but I unplugged it. Anyways, so the way you want to set your endpoints is, one, you want to make sure it goes all the way, like travels all the way and it stops. Typically, when I set endpoints, I like to have it down on an actual table. That way the arms are level. But what you're looking for is, one, not only that you're hitting full steer, but you don't want this servo to move. If this servo right here is moving, that means that it's over rotating. So see how it kind of moves a little bit there at the end? I feel like that servo is actually, the throw is a little too far. There's just the slightest bit of movement. So basically, you want it to go as far as you can, and touching's okay, but you want there to be just a little bit of play, and that goes with your steering servo and your throttle servo. A lot of people set their throttle servo to pull the carburetor open all the way and stop, and it doesn't give any room for some play. What you want it to do is you want it to pull the carburetor open all the way where the carburetor actually has no gap inside, but you can still move the carb needle a little bit. That way there's a little bit of play for that shock whenever your car lands really bad or you wreck really hard. Yeah, you need a little bit of play there so the servo has some tolerance to move. Well, I hope that helps, guys. If you're new to the hobby, don't feel discouraged if you blow a servo. Everyone blows servo. I've blown millions of servos in my days. Not literally, figuratively, but I've blown a lot. But yeah, don't be discouraged. Blowing servos is a normal thing. Happens to everybody. So have fun. Don't get mad. I hope you liked this video, guys. If you did, smash the like button, subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell, and you guys will see me next time. Later, guys.